Come out and curl. That's the best thing I can say. It's so much fun. It's a real social game. We have about 50 members. We've probably taught over 500 people how to curl. I at least had them on the ice throwing some rocks. You can come out and we'll have you curling for less than a half an hour, throwing rocks and having some fun. Well, I started curling about 8 or 9 years ago. I'd go up to Northern Ontario and curl once a year in a what's called a bonspiel, a tournament. And we needed some people to curl with down here. And Kalamazoo is such a perfect area for curling. And so we originally started taking groups over to Windsor, to a curling club in Windsor, and we'd show them how to curl. And had a little bit of a base of people interested, and then thought, maybe Wings would be interested in doing some ice up. So we talked to them, they were willing, and got one set of rocks, got some people going. We had to learn to curl, and that first learn to curl, that weekend we had 200 people come through. So from there, got some more rocks, and got some rocks through the USCA. Now we have 4 sheets of rocks, and leagues every Friday night. Yeah, that's the thing about curling too. You get on the ice, you can, all walks of life, all economic backgrounds, pretty much just all walks of life, all different people out here on the ice just having fun. You saw each team has 8 rocks made of solid granite, about 42, 44 pounds apiece. You slide it down to the other end of the ice. You slide out of what's called a hack. And the object is to have more of your rocks closer to the center than your opponent's rocks. Now you can have, your opponent may have 8 rocks in the rings, and you put one inside right on the center, and it negates all the other ones, and you get 1 point, the other team gets 0. So you usually play 8 or 10 ends, which ends are like innings. And there's a lot of strategy to it. It's like a chess match on ice. There's, you set up guards and come around those, and there's lots of different strategy that can go on. Because if you just threw your rocks in the rings, the other team would just knock them out, and then everybody would just knock out, and you end up whoever has the last rock wins. That would kind of be what goes on, unless you miss shots, but that doesn't happen that often. A lot of yelling, screaming, and hollering. Well,
what's that about?
It's hard to hear a lot of times because you have a lot of other games going on and other people yelling, and so you have to yell loud. And it's also exciting because you're yelling to your sweepers, because as your rock travels along, you sweep to keep it straighter or to take it farther. Sometimes you might be coming very close to another rock and you want to sweep, and then you want them to stop sweeping, and then it curls a little too much, so they're sweeping again. So there's a lot of off and on and yelling and hollering, and that's kind of part of the fun too. Well, at least I think it's fun. Yep, we're really excited to have the Nationals coming, especially with such a young club that we are. It's March 6th to the 13th. It's a week-long event. 10 men's teams, 10 women's teams, best in the nation, and we're going to have the men's Olympic team as well, current Olympic team coming right off the Olympics. You don't get too much opportunity to see curling at this level, and this is such a great chance to it's really such an interesting game and fun to watch. And if you can see what they can do with the rocks, if you've seen it on TV at all, you've got a feel for what goes on, but seeing it live, you can really see what goes on. The rocks, they are pretty expensive. Well, they only come from a certain quarry in the British Isles, somewhere, I don't know exactly where, but it has something to do with a certain kind of granite. When the rocks run into each other, you don't want them chipping. They have to be really hard, and so it only comes from a certain area, and they cost probably new ones anywhere from, you need 16 for a set to play a game. They cost anywhere from $1,000 to $16,000 for a set. So about up to $1,000 a piece. You can get used stones for a little less, maybe $5,000, $7,500, something like that. But that is the main barrier. And the U.S. Curling Association loaned us sets. The deal is you get a loan, you get the rocks for a couple of years. If you make your club go in a couple of years, you have a decision to keep the rocks and pay for them, or send them back. So it's kind of a low risk sort of thing. So we're trying to get those rocks paid down. As far as from hockey ice,
yeah,
or well, there's one thing is different is curling ice has to be perfectly level, so the rock doesn't what's called fall or curl when it's not supposed to. Also, there's little what's called a pebble. It's not literally a pebble on the ice, but it's just water sprinkled on the ice, which makes it a little bumpy. And that breaks the surface tension, so the rock will slide a lot better. As the rocks, and what makes a rock curl is you put a slight turn on it. As the rock turns, it slows down. It'll start to grip the ice a little bit, and it'll curl. Right? If you throw it harder, really fast, then it's not going to curl as much because it won't be able to kind of grab that, kind of like a curve. It's hard for me to answer that question because it's just it's kind of obvious for me because it's such a cool thing to see. But if somebody has not seen curling, boy, just a great chance to get outside of their not their comfort zone, but just see something new. And you know, it's a pretty cheap way to go, and it's an exciting upcoming sport. It's such a fun social sport too, because it's low impact. You can play, you know, a 9-year-old can play with a 90-year-old. Men and women, everybody can play together on the same sheet. It is physically kind of difficult because sweeping is, but you can, if you don't sweep hard, then it won't be all that difficult. But sliding out of the hack and delivering the rock isn't too physically demanding, but sweeping is. And one other reason to come to the Nationals is the person that got me curling, and the person that I took people to Windsor with. His name is Dean Gemmel. He moved away to New Jersey due to his family, his wife's work for his family, and now he is qualified for Nationals, so he's coming back. So you need to come back and root the home team guy, as close to a home team guy as we have.
We also have Friday night leagues starting February 5th. They're going to probably start at from 7 to 11. We'll have their 2-hour segments, and then we have open ice on Mondays 8:30 to 10:30, and you can come down anytime and learn how to curl. We also have an open curling open house on January 30th from 7 till 10.